Temporary workers at risk. How new LMIA restrictions are forcing low-wage workers to leave Canada. Welcome back to Canada Chronicles. In today's video, we're breaking down the new Labor Market Impact Assessment (LMIA) restrictions that are making it more difficult for low-wage temporary foreign workers to stay in Canada. These changes are reshaping industries that rely on foreign labor, leading to new challenges for both workers and employers. Stay tuned to learn how these restrictions are widening the gap between high and low-wage workers, affecting immigration pathways for many. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for the latest updates on immigration, labor trends, and life in Canada. Let's jump right in. Stricter caps on low-wage workers. As of September 26, 2024, the cap on low-wage temporary foreign workers, TFWs, has been reduced from 20% to 10% of an employer's total workforce. This shift is intended to prioritize the hiring of Canadian citizens and permanent residents but places significant pressure on industries like hospitality, agriculture, and construction, which have long relied on TFWs to fill labor shortages. This is especially challenging in rural and remote areas, where finding local workers is already difficult. Reduced employment duration. Another major change is the reduction in employment duration for low-wage workers, which has been cut from 2 years to just 1 year. Workers will now have to renew their work permits more frequently, adding uncertainty to their employment status. This has raised concerns among both workers and advocacy groups, who argue that temporary workers, especially those who have proven their value in the Canadian workforce, deserve more security in their jobs. The government's decision to shorten the employment duration is rooted in the aim to regularly assess the labor market needs and ensure that Canadian jobs are prioritized. By requiring more frequent renewals, the government can better monitor the use of foreign labor and prevent employers from relying on temporary foreign workers for long-term solutions. However, this has caused additional strain on both workers and employers, with the increased administrative burden and reduced job stability leading to higher turnover rates and challenges in workforce planning. Impact on employers across regions. The new LMIA rules also suspend processing applications for low-wage positions in regions where the unemployment rate is 6% or higher, primarily affecting larger cities. While this move is designed to encourage the hiring of local workers, it could lead to labor shortages in industries like retail and hospitality, which depend on TFWs. Employers fear these restrictions could lead to operational disruptions, especially in areas with high demand for these roles but insufficient local labor supply. This regional approach also presents unique challenges for small businesses compared to large companies. Larger corporations often have more resources to navigate the complexities of LMIA applications and find alternative labor solutions, while smaller businesses may struggle with fewer options. In rural areas, where the local labor pool is smaller, businesses in sectors like agriculture and food processing are likely to be the most affected, as they already face difficulties in sourcing enough local workers. The result is a growing disparity in how different industries and regions manage their labor needs under the new LMIA rules. Exemptions for essential sectors. Certain sectors, including agriculture, food processing, healthcare, and construction, are exempt from the new LMIA caps and employment duration limits due to ongoing labor shortages. For example, the agri-food immigration pilot will not be affected by these changes, allowing agricultural workers to continue renewing their LMIAs under previous terms. Similarly, healthcare workers will still have access to more stable employment options, providing critical stability in sectors that are essential to Canada's economy. The reasoning behind these exemptions lies in the crucial roles these industries play in Canada's infrastructure and food security. Without a consistent flow of foreign labor, agricultural production would suffer, leading to potential supply chain disruptions. In healthcare, the COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the importance of foreign workers in maintaining essential services. By exempting these sectors, the government ensures that critical areas of the economy remain functional, but it also highlights the dependency of these industries on foreign workers, which could influence future immigration and labor policies. Thanks for staying with us this far. We appreciate your time and hope you're finding this information valuable. The growing divide between high-wage and low-wage workers. One of the most concerning outcomes of these LMIA changes is the widening gap between high-wage and low-wage temporary workers. High-wage workers, especially those in industries like technology and engineering, have an easier path to permanent residency through programs such as Express Entry. These programs favor skilled workers based on factors like education and language proficiency, giving them more direct access to long-term residence. The Canadian immigration system's emphasis on skilled labor is largely driven by the country's economic needs and global competitiveness. High-wage workers are typically seen as contributing to innovation and economic growth, which aligns with Canada's long-term goals of attracting top talent. However, this focus on skilled workers often leaves low-wage workers, who are equally essential to sectors like agriculture and caregiving, with fewer opportunities to transition to permanent residency. This imbalance not only creates a two-tiered system but also risks leaving critical sectors vulnerable to labor shortages if low-wage workers lack stable immigration pathways. By contrast, low-wage workers face more challenges. With closed work permits tying them to a single employer, their opportunities for permanent residency are far more limited. The new LMIA restrictions further complicate this, leaving many low-wage workers in a precarious position. Advocates argue that this two-tiered system is unjust, especially given the essential roles these workers play in sectors like caregiving and food production. Advocacy and potential reforms. Advocacy groups are pushing for reforms to make the LMIA system more equitable for low-wage workers. One key proposal is the introduction of open work permits, which would allow workers to switch employers without being tied to a single job. This would give low-wage workers the flexibility to move between jobs and industries, increasing their job security and ability to stay in Canada. Additionally, there is growing support for the creation of a permanent residency pathway specifically designed for low-wage workers, similar to the temporary residence to permanent residence (TR to PR) program launched during the pandemic. These reforms aim to recognize the essential contributions of these workers and offer them a clearer route to stay in Canada long-term, which would benefit both workers and the sectors that rely on them. Advocates have also emphasized the importance of offering language and skills training programs to help low-wage workers meet the criteria for permanent residency. By providing resources that improve workers' language proficiency and skills, these programs could better equip them to qualify for pathways like express entry, which traditionally favors high-skilled applicants. This additional support would ensure that low-wage workers, who play essential roles in the economy, are not left behind in Canada's evolving immigration system. Employers seek flexibility. Many employers, particularly in rural or less populated areas, argue that the current LMIA restrictions do not account for local labor market conditions. They advocate for a more flexible system that adjusts caps based on regional unemployment rates. In areas with low unemployment, businesses could be allowed to hire more TFWs to meet labor demands without facing the same restrictions as those in larger cities. This would offer much-needed flexibility while still ensuring that domestic workers are prioritized in regions with higher unemployment rates. Moreover, some employers have raised concerns about the complexity and administrative burden of the LMIA application process, which has become more time-consuming and costly. Small businesses in sectors like agriculture and hospitality often lack the resources to navigate these intricate procedures. As a result, they are urging the government to streamline the LMIA process for trusted employers with a track record of compliance, reducing red tape while maintaining protections for Canadian workers. Navigating a shifting landscape. The recent changes to the LMIA program represent a significant shift in Canada's approach to low-wage foreign workers. While the government aims to prioritize Canadian citizens and permanent residents, the impact on industries that depend on temporary workers, and on the workers themselves, cannot be ignored. As both workers and employers navigate these new restrictions, the call for more flexible solutions and equitable policies will only intensify. Advocacy groups, workers, and businesses alike are pushing for reforms that recognize the essential contributions of low-wage workers while ensuring that the Canadian labor market remains sustainable. The future of thousands of temporary workers across the country will depend on how these policies evolve over the coming months. Thanks so much for watching Canada Chronicles. We hope this video has helped you better understand the complexities of the new LMIA restrictions and how they're affecting temporary workers in Canada. If you found this video informative, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on immigration news, labor market trends, and life in Canada. Stay tuned for more videos, and we'll see you next time on Canada Chronicles.